to the Pop Culture Green Room. I am Kimberly Bryant.
And I'm Blair Bryant.
And I just
Okay,
know
this
mine says Adam Brice. It's my husband's name.
okay, so if we have Adam Brice, actually, no, we don't. We've got Nicole Brice with us, everyone. And which so exciting about this is she is a published author, three times of I can't even talk, three times published author, and began her own magazine, Mixed All Magazine. Super excited to talk to her. And what's even more exciting is the fact that all of us went to college together. We
Yep.
studied at Southeastern Louisiana University. We are proud alumni of the Mass Communications Department. And what better way to get into some pop culture news than to dive in and interview Nicole as we get into some pop culture, hear more about her career path, how everything started, like where she's at, where she's headed, all of that fun stuff.
Yay. Okay, so you want me to just go ahead and start talking, or?
Yeah, go for it.
here.
Yeah, just tell us like how everything, like how like your dream began, like how it all started. Go for it.
I'm gonna try to think the best way I can summarize it all, because it's been a journey. It has been
Oh,
a
I
journey.
understand that.
So after college, I started working in marketing for a franchisee of a well-known fast food restaurant. I worked for them, gosh, from 2006 up until 2020. Ended up losing my job. They ended up hiring somebody younger than me with more education and replaced me. So then
Wow.
at that point, I was at a crossroads and, got really depressed. I'm like, what do I do now? It's like, this has been my
Right.
life forever, right? So
Oh,
then
for
that's
sure.
where my first book comes in. So I'll go ahead. Whoop. So this is My Labor Pains Were Worse Than Yours.
Awesome.
This is a book I was asked to contribute to. 31 women were asked to contribute. And so I was asked to contribute 2 chapters. One chapter, I was asked to write about my son. He has autism, and, speak about the struggles with that. And then the other chapter, I was encouraged to write about the loss of my career, which it was very therapeutic.
Wow.
And it was kind of like closing,
Good.
that chapter on things. And so
Mhm.
the book came out. It was a bestseller. It's still been doing great. Everyone
Wow.
loves the stories. They think it's very, uplifting and empowering. And so after that, though, I was like, well, hell, I can write. Okay, well, maybe this might be something
Awesome.
new I can do, right? So
Right.
then the lady that owns the publishing house that did this book, she also has a magazine called Modern Grace Magazine. And it's
Okay.
basically just a female lifestyle magazine, makeup and
Mhm.
culture and all that other good stuff. And so
Right.
I was brought on to initially interview bands and handle music and, the scene and all that.
Mhm.
Right.
But she and I kind of differed where we wanted to make the section head. I kind
Mhm.
of was told I could only write about certain bands if they looked a certain way. And
Oh,
yeah, so at that point, I was like, okay, this is not going to work. Not to mention, as I'm reaching out to people to try and interview them, I tell them the title of the magazine and they're ignoring me. I mean, because you hear,
uh-huh.
they're just like, yeah, no, we'll pass, whatever. So I'm
Right.
like, okay, I gotta go back to the drawing board. What I'm gonna do? So literally went to bed one night, y'all. Had this really crazy dream. Woke up the next day. I had all these ideas floating, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. No. Next thing I know, I'm
Uh-huh.
Googling trademarks. I'm Googling this, Googling that, and I'm like, okay, I've got to find, figure out a plan. So my
Oh,
co-owner of the magazine, her name is Keely Brooks. Coincidentally, she contributed to this book too.
oh,
And
did she really?
she and I were at the book mingle party for this.
Okay.
And we were the only 2 people that were alike. Like it
Mhm.
was a different group of women, just not like me.
Right.
And
Oh, yeah.
but I
Right.
saw her, she's tatted up, she's got her, spiritual jewelry on and everything. I'm like, oh, that's my girl. So we ended up becoming friends after that. And so whenever I decided to launch the magazine, she was the first person I got in touch with. I was like, hey, I want you to
Right.
do this with me. She worked in journalism for over a decade, several
Okay.
magazines.
Wow.
She's worked in various roles, editors, all this stuff. The girl is good at what she does. But the thing is, like, we balance each other. The things that
Uh-huh.
I'm good at, she's not good at, and vice versa. So,
Right.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
pretty
that's
cool.
awesome.
yeah, so
The
I
first
couldn't
time
do the
you
magazine without her, to be honest. She's awesome. Well, anyway, so magazine launched October of 2022. We started out with a dream. We're just like, let's dive
Mhm.
right in, so that's what we did. And then we've just been plugging away. And it's been great because we've had people reach out to us going, we want to contribute. We want to be a photographer. We want to be a writer. And we're like, okay, well, send us a sample of your stuff. And so
Mhm.
as of right now, it's like this big collective artistic group of people who all have this same purpose of we want to shed light on all the great music that's out there that mainstream media won't touch, because mainstream media won't touch you if you're not signed.
Which
That's
is
where
so
we're different.
true.
Yeah, and that's where we're
Mhm.
different. We're
It's like
like,
if you're
we
not
don't
signed
care
or
if you're signed
viral
or
on
not.
TikTok.
Yeah, and we don't care if you're
Mhm.
signed. We don't care if you're on TikTok. We don't care about any of that. If your music's good and we can find it on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, and we like what you're doing, we're going to write about you because
I
we want to
love
spread it
that.
to the
That's
masses,
so good.
because like
Right.
I also too, I had gotten in a funk with my music where you can only listen to the same stuff for so long. And then it becomes
Mhm.
stagnant and it's boring. You're like, I need something new. I need something fresh. Well, me being the indie grunge girl, I want the type of music that I want. And I mean,
Right.
not to knock like Taylor Swift or anybody else doing their thing. That's just not my jam. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
So
I
I've been
get it.
able to discover, and in fact, Candy Cavity is this t-shirt on here. I've been able to discover bands like this. So Candy Cavity
Nice.
is out of New Jersey, and the lead singer sounds like Kay Hanley from Letters to Cleo. She's
Oh,
freaking
really?
phenomenal, right? So she handmade
Oh,
this
okay.
t-shirt for me after I did the
Oh, that is
interview,
so
and she
cool.
sent it to me. Yeah.
Aw.
That's awesome.
And so that's kind of where we're at with the magazine. We're just continuing to grow. But I know what I wanted to say. One thing we pride ourselves on. So when I launched it, I knew that I did not want to do ads, because
Okay.
nothing is worse than when you're reading an article, you're scrolling, boop, there's an ad. You're like, crap, and you have to exit
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
And then you scroll some more, boop, there's a crap, and we exit out. So
Yeah.
my mission always was no ads, pure entertainment. That's how we're going to keep it. And I mean, as of right now, we're not making money, but I don't care,
Mhm.
because we're building a
Yeah.
brand, we're building a culture. And so my hope
Right.
is I want to merchandise us in the future. And
And that
by
would be
building
cool.
the brand, I'm hoping later on we can sell t-shirts, we can sell this, we can sell that, and then start bringing in money to, give back to the writers and, everybody that's contributing. So we're on the way. We'll see what happens. I think 2024 is the year. So, oh,
That
and
is
then
so
I
awesome.
I
so I forgot
agree.
about these two also. So these
Oh,
I
yes,
just
tell us.
published independently. I did these on KDP, Amazon, but I mean, they're not perfect. I didn't have them, checked by a professional copy editor or anything. I left
Right,
them
right.
raw, So I got this one. It's called Well, You See, What Had Happened Was.
Yes, I love that title.
This
I
one,
love it.
Mom Life Tale. So these are both fiction, but they're based on some events that happened in my life. So it's funny,
That is
it's
so cool.
humorous, it's upbeat, it's raw. Like in fact, with this one, it's formatted different than a regular book. So I
Oh,
did
it
that
is.
purposely. I don't know if
Yeah.
have you ever read Jack Kerouac's On the Road?
I haven't.
Okay, so Kerouac, when he came out with On the Road,
Mhm.
there's two versions. He has the edited version, and then the original version is this long, continuous scroll that's
Oh, wow.
unedited and it's formatted weird, but it's for artistic reasons. So everyone that's bought the book,
Okay.
they're like, I love the font. I love that it's big. And I'm like, but did you notice the formatting? I did that on purpose because this book reads like a play script.
Interesting.
It reads like
Oh, yeah.
a person talking to an audience, like a one-man show, a one-act play.
That is so
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, so it's completely formatted different. The
That's
other one's formatted like a
fascinating.
normal book though. So, but anyway,
Oh,
I
wow,
just
that's
rambled for a
super
minute.
cool.
Sorry about that.
No, you're
No,
good.
you're good. That's what we're here for. But it's so awesome how so basically it took you writing about your experience of
Mhm.
like losing your job and everything for you to have basically have an epiphany
Pretty
to
much.
yeah, that's wow. So like
Yeah.
start a magazine. That's super awesome. And then what were the chances that you ended up writing to someone that was like-minded where you both
Right.
balance each other out
Yeah.
to start a magazine? That's super cool.
I'll call that a divine universal happening.
I
Oh,
like
for
that.
sure.
Oh, there you go. Oh my gosh.
I need
That's
more of
just
those in my
so
life.
awesome. Oh my gosh. And so like so whenever you told your husband like you like this is what you wanted to do and like how did he react and what
Oh, he thought
were
it was
his
nuts.
thoughts?
He thought I was nuts. He was like, how are you going to pull this off? He goes, you got to take care of the kids. And at the time I wasn't
Mhm.
working because I hadn't found a job that could fit in my schedule with taking care of the kids and all that. So,
Right.
his biggest concern was, how are you going to do it all? And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
because I'm like Superwoman, because I explained to him, like when I was in college, people don't realize it. I was working at KSLU. I was working as a
Mhm.
manager at a fast food restaurant. I was in the
Right.
Army National Guard, and
I
I was taking
remember.
Wow.
18 to 21 hours per semester. I
Jeez.
know how to
Oh,
hustle.
yeah, 21
Yeah.
hours? Oh
Yeah.
my, I didn't realize you had that many hours per
Right.
semester, but oh my gosh, because I remember that's like, I was like, you are a workhorse. You always have been.
Yeah, it's
And
all
You're
just
I
being
always
know.
involved
active.
in things. Yes. That's
Yeah.
what I'm about
Hmm.
you.
It's all I know. And
And
so, I mean, I like being busy. And so now, I do the magazine, and then I do social media work for a naturopathic doctor, a Christian rock band, and
okay.
I just picked up a Mexican restaurant in Baton Rouge.
Oh,
Nice.
that's super awesome. I love it. Like you just keep it going. And what's so awesome is the fact that it's like you're networking, but you're giving and you're also giving like a platform to, like you said, to these artists
Yep.
who otherwise you wouldn't hear of them. Like that's how like years ago I used to pick up like Paste magazine, just to find like
Yeah.
people who were that you didn't
Mhm.
find in here in mainstream media or who weren't signed to like major labels. And I love that so much that it's still going. And what's so fun about us having this podcast, it's like and I love that all of us we're all using our communications degrees.
I
I
know
know,
we
right?
are. I'm literally using everything I was ever taught at Southeastern.
Yes,
I know, and,
exactly.
and I never would have thought like years later that how much everything stuck with us. But not only that, we had like such great instructors, and we had people like I look at like Robin Roberts.
I know, right?
That's
Yeah.
yeah, like just doing great things, and that's where she came from, like our university, and it's just super cool, like just seeing how like these doors can open and just making things happen in avenues and all. But like, what do you think was like the most stressful part, like the hardest part? Like, were there ever like was there ever like a moment in time where you felt like I don't know if I can do this? Like, am I going to just throw in the towel and quit?
Yeah, when I was building the website.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because, okay, so I had never built a website in my life.
Hmm.
But I was like, okay, I've got to learn, I got to put my big girl pants on. I got to learn this. So I just one day I picked the hosting site that I wanted to use, and I went in, and I remember at first it overwhelmed me and I got
Uh-huh.
upset, and I looked at my husband. I said, okay, I'm going to go take a nap. And I said, when I get up from this nap, hopefully I'll have the answers of what I'm supposed to do with this, because it was overwhelming. And so I literally took that nap,
Right.
woke back up, and then I started plugging away at it. It took me about a month to build the website. But that's another thing too. Like, I knew I wanted the website to have a certain look. So I'm a fashion girl,
Right.
always have been.
Right. Oh yeah, you
Oh,
have
Huge
yeah.
been.
on fashion, right? So Steven Sprouse, he's deceased
Mhm.
now, but he was a big fashion designer from like the late 70s all the way up until his death. And he designed clothes for Debbie Harry of Blondie and all
Wow.
these
Oh
big name
wow.
acts.
Okay.
And so he used a lot of neon. And in fact,
Hmm.
Louis Vuitton did a collection in collaboration, actually a couple collections in collaboration with him.
Oh,
One
I'm
was
gonna
when
have
he
to look
was
that
still
up.
alive, and then the other one was posthumously, but it was using that same bright neon, like graffiti look. And I just was drawn to that. So our website, when you go to it, it's got that
Mhm.
neon graffiti kind of, edge
Yeah.
to it. It looks artsy. It's
Ooh,
not your normal website, but I did that for a reason, because I
love
didn't
it.
want it
Mhm.
to look like a normal news website. And then plus, since we decided
Right.
not to go with a paper magazine because I don't want to kill any trees, and
Mhm.
it's all
Right.
online, I wanted it to look good, not just
For
be
sure.
Yeah.
so. But yeah, that was the most overwhelming part, was designing the website, because I literally was like, okay, I know how to do graphic design stuff. I know how to edit
Uh-huh.
video. I know how to edit audio. I was like, I can do this. I got this.
That is
Right.
super awesome.
And then
I
I pulled
love
it
that.
off. So
That's awesome. Because I love how you put so much thought into it and how you were like, hey, I don't want to be this cookie cutter brand. Or, and it's like, I mean, that's how you define yourself and define your brand. And it's
yep.
like, once you, I feel like that, and I always feel like that once people do that and figure that part out, that they can go places and go far, because I've noticed that you have a very
Mhm.
clear point of it, you have a very clear vision, and a lot of people don't have that.
No.
Even with
Very
entrepreneurs,
true.
it's like they
Yeah.
just don't like, and it's like, and one, not the people who are the most successful ones are the ones who have that. So I definitely see success in your future for sure, and
Thank
I'm
you. I
excited
hope
for
so.
you.
I mean, we're working hard. I'm not going to lie. We are working so hard. And then we just
Oh
picked up a
yeah.
new writer. And this new writer we picked up is so incredible. And I'm like,
Oh,
she is a
nice.
blessing from the universe, because she is just like diving right in, bringing us all these amazing artist interviews that like we've never even dreamed of. And I text her every day. I'm like, you're so amazing. Thank you.
That's oh my gosh, that is super awesome. Oh my goodness.
So,
That's
who was your favorite interview you've had so far, or your favorite interviews?
Lou Kohler from Sick of It All. Have you ever heard of the hardcore punk band Sick of It All? They have
I
been
have, yeah.
I feel like I vaguely have, yes.
yeah, forever. So let me tell you that story. So Jeff Crespi is his name. He's a photographer for our magazine. He is a world-renowned, award-winning photographer. He's based out in New Jersey. He reached out to me one Sunday. I'm literally at my brother's house on a Sunday. I get an email from him. He's like, I like what you guys are doing. I want to contribute. So from there, he and I spoke on the phone. We brought him on board. Literally one day, I'm just tootling around on the internet and I posted a post about an album by Sick of It All and how it was influential. It was my favorite album, right? So my friend Glenn Cummings, who used to be in the band Ludacris, and now he's in Stone Deep, and he's been in gosh, what was the other bands he's in? He's been in so many bands. Anyway, Glenn Cummings comments on my post, and he's like, that would be killer if you interviewed Sick of It All. I'm like, dude, that would be my dream. Oh my gosh. Literally like 5 minutes later, I get a text from Jeff Crespi. He goes, I know Lou Kohler. He goes, would you like to interview him? I'm like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So he goes, let me see what I can do. So it was like a few weeks later, and they were on tour at the time with Life of Agony. So I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, this is a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. Right. Next thing I know, he's texting me. He goes, I talked to Lou. I got you your interview. Here's Lou's phone number. Text him to set it up. And I'm like shaking, going, I have to text Lou Kohler from Sick of It All.
Holy shit.
Like, but I tell you, hands down, it was like a dream because I have been a fan of theirs forever. Like, I love hardcore punk. I love punk rock.
Yeah,
it's just my thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so literally I was like a kid in a candy store getting to talk to him, and he was so nice and so gracious. And just the fact that he granted us a little unknown magazine an interview, like that meant the world to me, you know? So I mean, I'm looking at things now as no dream is unattainable. And I'm literally, I'm just going to go for it. All they can do is tell me no.
Exactly. And I love that mindset. That's actually what got us powered through like and starting a podcast, because we talked about it and toyed about it for a while. And I just do that for a long time. I just let a nanny job from hell deter me from my career path, from like graduating from Southeastern and working with the Southeastern Channel to wanting to go to New York Film Academy and following in our family's footsteps in the entertainment industry. And then I was just like, nope, gonna work a normal 9 to 5. I was like, I got freaked out from the nanny world, flew back from New York, came back to Baton Rouge, and I was just like, oh no. And then over time, it's like I never would have thought, like 20 years later, it's like this is where I want to be. And I love the fact that you never let it stop you. It's like you kept going.
I did. I'm gonna be honest, I never envisioned this for myself. I thought I was going to be at my job forever, because literally the job that I worked at, I started there in 1997, just working in the restaurants. And then from 1997 to 2005, I worked in the restaurants. And then I made the transition into a more corporate role in 2006. And I mean, but I had been doing that forever. And so I just, it was like second nature. I never thought anything could happen. And so, I mean, if you want to read about it, it's in the book.
Yes, I have to do that for sure.
But anyway,
yes,
but it blindsided me, and it really threw me for a loop, and it was hard for a while, because when you go through a life change like that, it's like, well, what do I do now? That's my identity. That's who I am. And so I kind of look at it as now I'm really getting back to my roots, because when you get lost in the corporate world, you lose who you are. You become
100%.
You become this working stiff. You're just getting up in the morning, you're going to work, yada yada. But like who I am at my core, I love music, I love art, I love fashion. I love all those things, and it kind of got lost along the way throughout the years. But now I'm getting back to my roots. And that's
it's so awesome.
It's me.
That's so good to see. Oh yeah. It's like, what advice would you give to someone who's wanted, like, I guess it's like someone who's been in a similar situation like yourself, like had a path that they were on for a long time, or thought they had found the right path for them. The rug just pulled from underneath them, like career-wise or whatever. And it's just feeling like lost and stuck. So what advice would you have for someone in that position?
I would tell them, you know what? Take some time for yourself, find your true self. Ask the universe for answers, manifest it, if you pray, do it, because, I know some people are kind of iffy on all that, I don't pray, I'm not religious, whatever, but ask the divine forces that be for guidance.
I love that.
If I love that too. The answers will come to you, like I meditate a lot. And so during that time, I was meditating a lot, and I was just like
Wow.
looking for
Yeah.
answers because I had no idea what I was going to do. I really didn't. And I knew in my heart, I said, I cannot just be a stay-at-home mom. I was like,
Mhm.
I just can't, because I have too much ambition. And I mean, I love my kids, don't get me wrong.
Uh-huh.
You know, I love them more than anything, but just being a stay-at-home mom is boring, you know?
Right, exactly. And I love the fact that it's like you didn't just succumb to that. You were like, there's more to me. And that's, and I can definitely relate to that. I'm sure Blair can too, because I was like, I didn't work my ass off in school to just, not go on a certain path and just to like have like this like mundane life. Like that's not what I want. Of course, I wanted to get married and have a family and all these
Right.
things, but that didn't happen. But I'm like, since that didn't happen, I don't want to sit here and just like die at an old age, hopefully. And that's
Right, right.
like where it's like where I worked at a corporate office for years and then I retired
Mhm.
and just withered away. Like I don't want that. Like I want to have like an awesome badass story. And I was like, so you
Right,
know what? I'm
exactly.
gonna go
Yeah.
out there and create it. And that's what your story reminds me of. It's like
Well,
you went
thank you.
out there and just created
Well,
it.
and I'm gonna
And
be
I love it.
honest, like, I didn't used to be this brave. I attribute a lot of my bravery to serving in the Army National Guard, because I tell people all the
There
time,
you
like, I was
Right.
this shy little petite thing when I
uh-huh.
first joined. And then, after I made it through boot camp and AIT, I literally was like, I'm a badass. I'm like, I can do anything,
I love it. I love it. I thought that was like one of the coolest aspects about you was when I found out that you were in the military. Whenever
You.
we were in college, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, she does it all. I was like, this drop dead gorgeous girl. Like she, it
Oh, God bless you. I'm not drop dead gorgeous.
was
Oh,
so
man.
funny. It was so fascinating to me. I was like, this is so cool. And it's like I still don't know how you managed to do all of that while in school, but you did. So
I'm gonna be honest, my parents, that's what they instilled in me, like my
yeah.
dad has
I
always
love
been a
that.
hard worker, and so is my mom, you know, and that's all I ever knew. And
Mhm.
then both my dad and my brother were in the National Guard with me. And so it
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah, and so it was almost as if like I needed to join, because
Mhm.
how the National Guard came about was because my first semester of Southeastern, I had student loans. And
Right.
it was giving me bad anxiety to think about having
Mm,
to pay back all that money. So my
Oh,
dad, he's
right.
like,
Yes.
well, National Guard has tuition exemption and the GI Bill
right.
kicker. He goes, so you'll get paid each month to go to school, and your school will
That's
be
so
paid
true.
for. So I'll never forget. It was so awesome. Like each year when
Mhm.
I'd show up at Southeastern to pay fees, I'd go to the fee office. I'd say, I'm in the National Guard. They'd pull out a list, find my name, whoop,
Mhm.
credit my account. I'd walk out. That was it.
Oh my gosh,
Nice.
you had it easy.
Yeah. And I
Oh
literally
my
have
gosh.
zero student loan debt now. Like I did have 2,500 in student loan debt, but I paid
Mhm.
that off years ago.
Yeah,
That's
good.
amazing.
I love that. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. That's like this is so inspirational for other people. So that's why I'm so glad you were able to come and
Oh, well,
tell your
thank you.
story. So
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If I can inspire another female to go after her dreams, then that's my ultimate goal. Because
Oh,
like we're only here on Earth for a short amount of time, and
right.
why not
right.
Oh
make the
yeah.
best of it and do what we want to do? And I mean, we weren't designed to work a 9 to 5 and have no life. That's not how
No,
it's supposed to be. We need to experience life.
I agree.
exactly.
I agree. It seems like that's like the American culture though. I noticed like other countries, like they do they look at it. I don't know. Self-care is not like the right word I'm trying to use, but they basically the work-life balance is they're
Right. Well,
really
they take
great about
holidays.
that.
And I
Yeah,
feel like
Mhm.
they value the human experience more in general.
exactly. They do.
Right.
Where
And
it's
I
like,
feel
if
like
you
Yeah.
in
are just a
America,
number.
it's just about
Mhm.
money, 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 money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Where's the
that's so
a number
true.
to make other people rich, and
Mhm.
But I'm gonna be honest, like I don't even want to be rich. Like I've told several people this recently. I said if I could buy a tiny house and have a piece of land and a garden and just be in the middle of nowhere, I'd be so happy.
There you go.
that
Yeah,
sounds
whatever
ideal. I
makes
love
you
that.
happy. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, super awesome. Oh boy. So what we're going to do is we're going to segue into some celebrity news, little
Woohoo!
headlines
I
here and
love this
there.
stuff. This is my favorite.
Me too.
Let me take a sip
I
of
figured
water
I
real
was like,
quick.
this is like I love like just celebrity gossip news, and it's so funny because it's like I didn't realize how much the writer's strike really made a huge difference in what was
Oh yeah,
going on,
Oh
big
yeah.
and
time.
yeah, like it made like a really big difference in like the news and everything. And then that's where I noticed that like reality TV really picked up a lot. And then too, that happened, especially with COVID as well. Like
Yep.
then COVID hit, like reality TV like became like big, and people also going and getting into like music and trying to explore different things because everybody was stuck at home and just had to like dip into other means of entertainment. So that's
Pretty
been
much.
yeah, that's been like pretty interesting and everything. But of course, oh my gosh, like what haven't noticed that? Oh, that's one of the big headlines that's been all over the news I've noticed was with it came out with the Royals. Pierce, what's his last name again?
Morgan.
Piers Morgan. Yes,
Piers
Piers
Morgan.
Morgan. Yeah, he had released how it was from the Dutch version of it was a Dutch version of the book. It's called, what am I trying to say? Ender Games. I think I'm thinking of that movie. Is it End Game, I believe is the name of the book, where they it was released. It was like that who actually made the comment that Meghan and Harry had talked about on the couch conversation with Oprah when they were like talking about the book and everything about the skin color of the child. And I had a gut feeling it was Prince Charles that said it. At first I thought it was one person,
Mhm.
but I felt like if in any one that it had to have been either Kate. For whatever reason, I had a feeling it was Kate, but that it had to be Kate, or I was thinking Prince Charles because like him being an older male and everything to me just made sense. It sounded like something an older person would say. And then
Yeah.
sure enough, like that's what came out. I was like, oh my gosh. So now it's like I'm curious as to how that's going to
I
play out.
know.
There
I
hasn't been
follow
like
all that stuff. It's just a hot mess. But then what about Britney Spears, y'all?
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh gosh.
oh,
I think about that
oh my
all the
gosh.
time. I think
Yeah,
we all
that's
do.
Y'all,
It's
I
like,
mean, like, I'm obsessed with what's going on with her. Not gonna lie, because I know there's more going on.
oh,
And
there
have
has to
y'all
mhm.
read
be.
her book?
I haven't read it, but I've
I
heard
need
like
to.
like
It's on my
excerpts of
list.
it. But I haven't read it yet. But it's like a lot of the things that came out. I don't know if you remember, like from being in Hammond, and of course, we're in the same parish as Kentwood,
Right.
um, and I became friends with Jason that
Mhm.
from college, like the one that married her for 55 hours, Jason Alexander. But
Yeah,
it's like, and
he
then
went to Southeastern, didn't he?
yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
He
that's
played
what I thought.
football. He
Yeah.
played football at Southeastern. That's how I met him years ago because I started working as equipment manager the year that he married Britney. And I remember going out on the football field and like the coaches cracking jokes and
Right.
everything. And at the time I remember like Us Weekly was calling the field house and like all these magazines and like paparazzi was kind of like coming around
Crazy.
and
Yeah.
it
It's
was really
insane. Yeah.
crazy.
So crazy. But
It
what I
was
was gonna say about her
insane.
book, like if when y'all do read it, I feel like it's not the whole story. You can tell it's heavily edited and it does
Mhm.
not sound like her because she had ghostwriters on it.
I can,
Yes, she
yes.
And
Oh
did.
yeah.
there's like huge gaps in time that she doesn't even talk about. So
I can
you
Mhm.
believe
know
it.
there's more to that story. And I
And
think
what's
Yeah.
even
interesting,
in
Oh
her
yeah.
videos and everything, it still seems like she's being held captive in a way. Because, if she's totally free, then why is she not out actually enjoying life? Why is she only posting videos of herself dancing in her house like she's locked up for COVID?
I think that has to do with her mental
You think so?
illness. Yeah,
I
oh
think
yeah,
so. Yeah, that
100%.
makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, because I've been around some people like because I don't know her exact diagnosis.
Me neither.
Um,
I think it
but
was like bipolar and something else, but yeah.
I believe so. But just being around some people like that I'm close to that do suffer from like
Mhm.
bipolar disorder, other mental disorders, a lot of it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the patterns are just or odd behaviors or just just wanting to become like a recluse for us. So a lot of it like made sense to me. And then and how like they said that she likes to like play with knives and things
Yeah.
of that nature like that. But it's so because to me really a lot of the things that came out or the things that happened, it's like there were rumors that we've heard for years around town,
Yeah.
Right.
and it basically just kind of came to light. So that's why a lot of it wasn't like I wasn't too shocked. But I do remember the thing with her having an abortion. I remember years and years ago I heard like a small rumor about it
I
like
Oh,
remember hearing
really?
one
that
or
See,
two
too.
that was
times.
news to
Yeah,
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
and I just took it as a rumor, and I was like people are
Yeah.
just taking things too far. But
Because
oh yeah, it
funny
was.
enough, I actually remember that one pretty clearly because I remember hearing it one time and being like, this is too like Hollywood-esque fake drama
Mhm.
rumor type thing that someone's trying to stir up. That's not true. I just wrote it off. And sure enough, she wrote it about it in a memoir. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it's like I feel like I
Wow.
heard it from somebody who knew her. I don't know if it was someone who's actually like friends with her per se, but somebody who knew her. I feel like I vaguely remember that much.
Uh-huh.
Because we went, I guess, from being like, living out in, out in Hammond and stuff, and
Right.
we would hear a lot of things and see a lot of things. Because I mean, case in
Mhm.
point, I mean, we'd see Jamie Lynn Spears around town pretty often,
Oh,
and
all the
Oh yeah,
time.
she was
Yeah.
always in Hammond. Yeah.
yeah, and
Oh
it's like,
yeah.
and she used to show up at my old job all the time,
Mhm.
and and Lynn as well, seen her periodically,
Mhm.
her dad from time to time, and it's kind of funny because the fact that I feel like that, as far as locals go, you're like one of the first people in a long time I've actually talked to about Britney because I feel like
Uh-huh.
nobody really talks about her, and if they
Yeah,
do,
they
like,
really don't.
yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
like
be honest,
somebody.
I just want to be your friend. Like, I
Same
really
here,
do.
same here.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
I adore her, and I always have. And I mean, her music, it brings out a different side of me. And people laugh because they're like, oh, you can listen to Slayer and you can listen to the Breeders and you can,
Uh-huh.
to Pennywise and all this stuff. But then you listen to Britney Spears, I'm like, y'all, I am a girl, okay?
Right.
Right, exactly.
Like I like her music, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
be honest, her last album, Glory, was incredible. Her vocals on that album were like so, just amazing, next to anything else she had ever done. And yet you don't hear
Mhm.
people talk about that. It's always about her personal life and what's
No,
going
I
on. But
Right.
I mean,
know.
at her core, she is an incredible singer. But
Yeah.
I feel
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
they always tried to make her sing this certain way with her voice, but
I
she has
agree.
range.
She said it before, and I remember when she
Mhm.
was a kid, like seeing old videos from whenever she
Yeah.
like
Oh,
was
she
in
had
church or
range as
whatnot,
a child
and
for
she
sure.
definitely had range. And
Oh
she
yeah.
talked about that
Mhm.
not that long ago. How it's like they made her sing a certain way, and there were times whenever she posted videos on Instagram whenever she was singing, and you could tell she had the range there.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I'm all about Team Brittany. I'm
Yeah.
Brittany. If you ever
Same
watch this,
here.
we won't be your friend.
I am. Oh, right. I'm like, I am hoping for the best for her that she comes out of
Me
this,
too.
and
It's sad. It just
Yeah.
like
yeah, it comes out
it
of it
seems like
okay.
living a sad life. And I really want what's best for her. And I hope that she can at some point, get whatever help it is that she may need. But it's just I feel bad for her. I really do.
Oh, I do too. Trust
Yeah.
me. I follow her all the time. Every time I see one of her posts, like, I mean, and I'm an empath too. So, like
Mhm.
when
Same here.
someone's upset or suffering, I feel that. And so I feel deep sadness from her,
Oh, for
and it
sure.
makes me
Right,
sad.
right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I feel like a conservatorship was necessary, but I feel like things are just taken like way out of hand. And I also feel though as though probably I think her dad shouldn't have had it. I think maybe someone else, but not
I
her
agree.
dad. But
Well, and
yeah.
I think it went on too long. I think she was
Yeah.
taken advantage
Yeah.
of, and it's terrible because she missed all those years of her life, being
Mhm.
under someone else's rules. It's terrible.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh,
But I'm gonna
poor
tell y'all
baby.
ultimately, and I'm praying for
Mhm.
this. Y'all heard about whenever Jason crashed her wedding to Sam?
Oh, with
Yeah.
the
I was like secretly rooting in the background, going, Jason, please bring her home, bring her home.
I can
Wait.
tell you that he was too. We gotta listen to this.
Okay, so all right, so before that happened, I got a phone call from it was a mutual friend of
Mhm.
mine. It was a mutual friend of mine and Jason's. So I had gotten a phone call, but like this is about I want to say this is about like a month and no, probably a good 2 months before that happened, before she had gotten married and the whole like wedding crash happened. So I was on the phone with one of my friends. He had given me a call and we were just like talking and catching up, and he had um like he was talking about me being in San Diego and how like often if I go to LA or how often I do or
Mhm.
whatever. And so he was telling me, he's like, yeah, he's like, so Jason's like wanting to come, he's wanting to get back to California, and he's wanting to move out there. He's like, hey, he's like, is it possible that he could stay with you? And so of course me, I'm kind of thinking, but I knew that I was a little bit in limbo because I was getting ready to move because my the landlords at the time that owned the apartment I stayed in, um, they were getting a divorce, so they were selling the
Mhm.
property. So I was like, okay, I know I'm not gonna be there long. And then I also had a great opportunity to come up um to live on my friend's ranch and take care of his horses.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I so I was like, okay, but so I didn't really know what to do. So I was kind of thinking, I was like, well, maybe he can probably come stay for a little bit because he was asking me if he could come stay with
Mhm.
me. So I was starting to kind of think about it. I was like, I don't mind helping out, friends and stuff from back home
Right.
or whatever. But then he tells me he's trying to get Brittany back. And I don't know why, but something about it, I was just like, oh hell no. I was like, I had a bad feeling. I had a bad feeling. I was like that. I had a feeling that he was really going to try it, and that for some reason it just, I don't know what it was. Something came over me, and I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. As soon as I heard that, and then sure enough, I decided to take on a job with my friend, and I was hanging out with him and one of his another friend of ours, and we're just sitting there talking, like shooting the shit. And I just happened to bring up and just told her about that, and so she thought it was really interesting because she didn't know that she didn't realize that Britney Spears was from Louisiana, but she knew she was from the South somewhere. So I just told her that story. And I kid you not, like it must have been like 3 days later. I'm scrolling on my phone and I see TMZ and they're saying how her ex showed up. He's like, see Jason sprawled out on the ground, his hands behind his back, handcuffed, and I'm like, oh my god! I was like, this is crazy. I was literally just talking about this, and then so I sent like the article to my friend, and then my friend calls me because it didn't go through on her phone. So he's with her. He calls me up. He's like, yeah, what was it that you sent? I said, remember what I told y'all the story about Jason like wanting to come move, like stay with me for a bit because he was trying to get Britney, and I was like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Well, I was like, look at TMZ. I sent the article, and like he just laughed.
It's like, wow.
Like, it was pretty crazy because I remember whenever it happened, because the funny thing is that I was like, in a way, I was kind of like surprised, but like in an impressed surprise.
Right.
Whenever Kim turned it down, because Kim's like a very hospitable person.
Yeah.
And then what? But for her to even instinctively be like, not a good idea to have him over here. And the fact that she sure as shit, not long after that, he ends up crashing her wedding and getting arrested. Because and I was like, oh my god, that was true. And the thing that's even funnier about this is that before that he even crashed the wedding, are you familiar with Demois, that like really popular like celebrity gossip anonymous Instagram account that's got like millions of followers, and it has like everybody in a frenzy? Well, so like I follow it religiously, and I even sent her a tip about it, and I was like, I'm admitted to that publicly right now, but I haven't sent her that. I was like,
you sure did, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, having a good authority that Jason, that he is trying to move to California and get Britney back, and she actually posted it, and I didn't really think anything of it. And sure enough, he got arrested for crashing her wedding and like trying to show up over there. And then I was just like in shock when I found out, and I was like, oh my god! I'm like, that information ended up like coming to fruition in the
right.
It's crazy, but you know what's even crazier? In the book, she wrote about him like he was insignificant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he is not happy about that.
Well, but I think that's a lie, and I don't think that was her. I think that was her people telling her.
I can see that.
I think so too, because there's some other information I know that I can't get out because it'll be obvious that it came from me. But no, a lot of that stuff wasn't correct.
Yep, that's what I thought. See, I could see through that book. I'm telling y'all, there's more to this story, and that's what I want to know. I want to know the story. And in fact, I would love to interview her. Like, if there was some way I could get past all of her security and all the big name stuff, and just get to the real Britney, and we could sit down and chat, I would love to do it.
Yeah, there's more to it, and it's like, I mean, everybody's got their vices or their issues or different things of that nature, and he's not perfect. He has things that he's dealt with and still dealing with, but he's not he's not crazy and making up a lot of this stuff, and he's not lying about it. I'll say that much, and I know that much, and that's like, how else did he know how to get to how else did he know how to find her, to know
how did he even know where she lived?
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
And what got to me was the fact that if you watch a video of him going through, because he live streaming on his Instagram that he was going through there were people at the house who were kind of like, oh hey Jason, or just kind of like, oh hey, like that's something that like stands out to me the most.
Yeah. Yep.
They're nonchalant about him being over there.
Yeah.
I tell you, my intuition these days is pretty spot on, and I'm telling you, something ain't right.
Oh, I believe it 1,000%.
Oh yeah, I'm just curious to see how everything was going to play out, though. But
me too. But y'all, she's the same age as me, so I'm 42.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, she's
Mhm.
December 1981. I'm July 1981. So like my heart really
Yeah.
goes out to her, you
Right.
know?
Her birthday, I think
yeah.
her birthday's like on the 3rd. I think it's like in 2 days, if I'm
Yeah,
right.
I think
Yeah, it
so.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one thing I remember, that her birthday was like December 3rd. But oh my gosh, but yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how everything comes out. Like some people are wondering, like, is she gonna write a second book? Is she gonna write another? I don't think she is.
Mm-mm.
I think that's it, because but I don't know. I'm wondering if she'll ever make music again. I think if she gets the help that she needs,
Mhm.
that at some
Yeah.
point, I would say could definitely see her maybe like 3 to 5 years from now, she'll be back performing again.
But
I would
another
hope
thing
so.
too that I picked up on with her, so you know, the interview with Kevin Federline came out and he said that she was on meth or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't think I think she's just taking Adderall and she's getting hyped up on Adderall, you know, because I mean, I
It's
took
possible.
Adderall in college, you know, and
Yeah.
I know what it does to you, and that's what it looks like. She's just on Adderall.
Yeah, it could very well be. Yeah, very well be. Yeah, it's a mystery. It's a
It
mystery. I
is,
did see she
but we
popped
got
up
to
in
get to the
public
bottom
recently.
of it.
Yeah.
I know. Oh yeah.
I know. I love how we're all of a sudden we were like deep diving into Britney
I know,
Spears.
right?
You know, it's funny. It's like I wonder why I never really. I've actually, well, lately I actually have kind of been doing it, but it's funny because like whenever, like you said, when the book came out, it was a lot of things that it was basically confirmed
Mhm.
with everything that we've known and heard about and everything for years. But I remember like even one of our little flings, I guess, from high school, he transferred to Hammond High when we had gone, and
Yeah.
he's passed away, like, oh man, like years ago. But
Yeah.
I remember when our baseball team had like a raffle, like he came and like he brought like her autographed jacket from the Mickey Mouse Club, like a Mickey
Oh
Mouse
wow.
ears, and like all these other things that they were going to like raffle off. And it's like he would always get the things, I guess, without question so much, but he had a big mouth though. He would he would
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like kind of like blurt out and like spread like their business. And I think the family tried to like keep him quiet by like
Yeah.
pretty much giving him whatever he
Yeah.
wanted.
Mhm.
And him being a kid, it's like I wasn't surprised, but because when I like the minute I met him like in a computer lab in high school, and he was looking at pictures of her like online. He's like, "Oh, I know when this is." And he's like, "This is before her boob job." He's like, "This is before, this is after." And I was like, "Oh wow," he's just kind of like just talking. So I just turned over and looked at him. I was like, "Oh yeah, didn't you date her?" And he got like really explicit and everything. And I was like, I didn't ask for all that, but I was just like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
and then he just started telling stories. But like that's what everyone pretty much said. They said that
Yeah.
he would just talk about it and tell stories to anyone who would
Mhm.
listen. But yeah, they were all friends, like, because he was friends with Jason as well. Like it was, I mean, you know, Kit was a small town, so it's like
Oh yeah.
everyone.
Well, that whole area. I
Yeah.
mean, even Hammond,
Mhm.
Ponchatoula, Amite. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, so I grew up originally in Prairieville, and back, you know, it's still like that. But yeah, Prairieville was
Yeah.
very small, you know, community.
Uh-huh.
Everyone knew everyone, but now it's massive out there. And my parents still live out
Right.
there. I hate visiting because the traffic's god awful. But I live in Central now, so like
Uh-huh.
where I live in
Yeah.
Central, it still has that small town. Everyone
Mhm.
knows everyone feel, you know.
Right.
And so, yeah, naturally, I mean, you know.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's funny you brought up Prairieville because I forgot
Yeah.
that's where you're from, because that's actually
Yeah,
when I
I
moved
will
back
never
from.
move back there. You could not pay me to move back there. I'm gonna be honest. And anybody that moves out there now, I'm like, why? Like you're torturing yourself. The traffic's terrible. The drainage is terrible. The houses are on top of each other now. When I grew up out there, we had cow
Mhm.
fields behind my mom's subdivision. We used to sneak out of the house at night and go cow tipping.
And go
Okay.
count. That's funny. It has grown a lot, because I remember we used to go there often before I moved back to San Diego. I've got some girlfriends and I would go visit them because like I had one like in Central, other ones in Prairieville, and then that's where I would go hang out at. And it's funny because actually, believe it or not, we did an interview
Yeah.
with someone yesterday. He's actually from Prairieville,
Oh, what's
and
his name?
it's Joshua Roberts.
That sounds so familiar.
Yeah, and I found him actually through another YouTuber podcaster that I'm like a big fan of.
Uh-huh.
And that's how I found him. And it turned out
Yeah.
that I didn't even realize it. As much as I watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and
Mhm.
watch all of like the franchise, he was actually the former assistant to Sutton Strack on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I didn't even notice it and realize it. Blair noticed that
Yeah.
before I did. But we interviewed him yesterday. That was a lot of fun.
That was
So
really fun. Yeah.
Awesome. And then you mentioned
uh-huh.
San Diego, so I forgot that you did live in San Diego. You know, it's crazy. When I was in the National Guard, So one year for our annual training, the mission was to go to San Diego and to help reinforce the border near San Diego and Mexico. And so I will never forget, like, that was the best annual training we ever had because we stayed on the Navy base in Coronado. And it was so beautiful. Like, we didn't have AC in the barracks, but I didn't care because you had that ocean breeze coming in. And I fell in love with San Diego. Sorry, I got on a tangent.
No, you're good.
Oh, it's nice. Like, one of the times I went to go visit Kim like years ago, and like one of her apartments that she lived in, it was like really like one of those really cool like 1960s like style, but it's like it still was very updated and very well taken care of and managed, but they didn't have any AC, but you didn't need it because it popped open a window and had the window screen and felt that ocean breeze, and like it felt so good.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. I'll never forget, we first got there and we walked in the barracks and I'm looking around like, there's not a single AC unit in here. Because we were used to, when we'd get to annual training, you'd walk in the barracks, you'd find the window units, you turn them on, you know, and we're like, there's no window unit.
Yeah, there's not. Like I think I've only lived in like 2 places that had AC. No, 3 places that had AC, and it was because they were further away from the shore. But every time I like lived like close to the shore, like when I was in Pacific Beach at one point, my roommates and I, we had this big house that was like walking distance from the ocean, so just like blocks away, and I mean it felt awesome. It felt perfect, and all you needed, if anything, if we got to have, was just like one of those boxed fans, and that was it. But oh yeah, I missed that for sure.
I would move there in a heartbeat because, in fact, after I went there for 2 weeks, I didn't want to come home.
Oh yeah. I definitely miss it, that's for sure. But it was definitely a time had, but I feel like the West Coast is definitely my home. I mean, I've got, you know, Louisiana's home, but that's my vibe. That's my home, and I will be back. That's for sure. So it's like, I know people always are like, it's so expensive and you know, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, if that's where I was happy at, you know,
exactly.
My friends, that's where I want to be. But that was very interesting. It's like I was that close to letting him come over, and
that's just crazy. And imagine if you would have.
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah, I know. That's the scary part. I'm like, imagine.
Because like my thing was like, it's like kind of suppose it went to court and then you'd have to like testify and then being on the news and stuff. Like,
oh my god!
People probably ringing up your phone like, so what's going on with him, you know? And
I still don't know how I dodged that bullet. It was just, I just had a feeling, and I was like, I remember telling my friend Chris, I was like, I just had a feeling, and I was just like, no.
That intuition kicked in. You're like, this seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, it was just funny. Like, he just couldn't help but laugh whenever he got home. Him and one of our friends got home, and like she's like, oh my god, she's like, that's so weird. She's like, you were just talking about this, and he's sitting there shaking his head because he's like, if this could happen to anybody, he's like, it would be you. He was like, it would be you. So wow, but yeah, that was definitely fascinating. And then and I saw like, so did you know that Kelly Clarkson, did you know her ex-husband was her manager? I didn't know that.
And you saw how like now he owes her a ton of money for overcharging her. And she looks incredible, y'all. She's lost so much weight. So good. Well, she's beautiful no matter what weight.
Oh,
you know,
right.
She's a beautiful person.
She does. And I've loved her for years. And that's
me
she's
too.
One of those celebrities, like you never hear anything bad about her. Like
no, you can tell that she's a genuine sweetheart. Yep.
Yeah.
I'd love to meet her. I'd give her a hug.
Oh, I know. She's awesome. But it was wild because I was like, so he got like $2.6 million of like commission that he should have never even had.
I saw that.
So it was like basically it was like money that he took from her. So like that was wild. And then now it's coming up. So of course like Jeannie Mai and Jeezy had gotten a divorce or like going through divorce. And then now it's just come out from her side. Like she's saying that apparently I guess that he cheated on her, which that blew me for a loop.
Wow.
That threw me for a loop
because, but wow.
Yeah, because he actually was one that filed for divorce, and then I would hear him go on and speak, and he would like, I forgot which radio show he was or podcast he was on recently, and he was saying how he said, you know, you can always, he's like, we tried counseling, he's like, you can do things, but you can forgive, but you can never forget.
Right.
So it almost seemed like he was alluding that it was something on her part because there were rumors going around that she and Mario Lopez had an affair, but it turned out that wasn't even true. That came out that was just false rumors. And so apparently, from what she's saying, or her camp, that he was one that cheated. So Very interesting. So that's been going on. I
Yeah.
saw that.
I'm curious about what's going on with that one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what the funny thing is, I was looking at when I was on Reddit trying to look and find out stuff about it and about
Mhm.
them and her and like possible infidelity, like on her. Because the first thing I heard was about on her and then not on his. Like
Mhm.
almost so many of those comments and threads were wiped off the internet and deleted.
Really?
So I was kind of
Wow.
thinking something kind of suspicious. Something's kind of suspicious here.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. Something that's yeah, that's interesting that you said that. Huh. That's another
Like
deep dive I have
so
to
many
go
of them
into.
deleted. Yeah, sure.
That oh yeah, oh yeah. And I saw like which okay, and this is another thing that's so interesting, so that fascinates me. So I'm not a like I'm a fan of Taylor Swift as a person of who she is. I'm not a fan of her music, kind of like you said, Nicole. Like, not a
I'm
fan of
not
the
yet.
music. It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't
It
vibe
just
with
doesn't do
me.
anything for me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
same here. But it's like I love who she is as a person. But I saw that she returned a favor, and she went to Europe for because how Beyonce went to her Eras tour, like her movie or her she surprised everyone showed up at her premiere for
Mhm.
Air's film. Well, apparently Taylor Swift has returned a favor, and she's in I think is it London that she's at right now for
Yes.
Beyonce's premiere for Renaissance. Yeah, and she went over to London to return a favor and show up to her premiere. So I like that. I like the fact that you seem like two women, these big names, like
Yeah.
supporting each other.
And whose
Oh
fans
no,
try
I
to
mean,
pit
she
against
seems like a
each
really
other.
good
Yeah.
person. All the things
Oh
that she
yeah.
does
Mhm.
for people, yeah. I don't like her music.
Yeah, I'm the same
Yeah.
way.
Oh
It's like I
yeah.
mean, like it's
Mhm.
like I mean, some of her songs might be all right, but it's like it's nothing that I feel like listening to or like putting on repeat on, a
Right.
playlist.
But like if it came on, like
But
satellite radio, you'd probably like joke around to it and be like,
yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'd probably
Right. Yeah.
give it a
Mhm.
whirl, but that's about the extent of it. And
Yeah.
but I definitely have a lot of respect for her as an artist for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she knows what she's doing. She's got a great team behind her. That's for
Oh yeah,
sure.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because I would have never guessed in a million years that when I first saw her as this little country musician, teenage girl and stuff,
Yep.
guitar, long blonde hair. Like I never would have thought that she'd be this. I mean, this girl like she's
Powerhouse, yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I
everything
mean
she
she's
touches
huge
turns
now.
to
You can't
gold.
go anywhere without reading about her, she's everywhere.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I've got to give it up to her because I like that about her a lot. It's like she's literally just a good person, a good human being, and I
Mhm.
think that's what I like. I like to see that actually a good person doing great things and
Same.
they're getting great reception, and that makes me happy because the world can use it right now.
Oh, big
Oh,
time. I mean,
no kidding.
and I tell I well, I preach kindness to my son's one thing, but my daughter, I preach to her kindness all the time. Like one thing
Mhm.
I've instilled in her is like when we go somewhere and say someone's waiting on you no matter where you could be, but I always tell them, appreciate you, thank you. Always.
Right.
And so she started doing that now. But it's
Oh,
like even
good.
if,
Uh-huh.
we as a society just told people daily, I appreciate you, thank you, or I see you, that
Yeah,
matters,
it really does.
positivity.
Oh,
It
exactly.
does. Hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
contagious. It needs to be spread.
Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, it goes a long way. It definitely does for sure. Oh my gosh, well, this has been so much
Oh,
fun.
I
I
know, I
know we
really
could probably
enjoyed
talk for
this.
like 8 hours.
I love it.
We
We're gonna
definitely
have
need
to
to
like
do
do
it
like another
again.
like
This is
catch up
great. I love
session
it.
Well,
and
anytime you
everything.
want
But
to bring
this
me
is
on as like a
fun.
special, like, guest host or something with y'all, I would be down,
Oh
joining
my
the
god, yeah, we
conversation.
would love
We
Oh,
could be
that.
like the
absolutely.
mute,
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah, oh my
absolutely.
gosh,
Yes.
we like definitely so what we'll do is we'll send like the links and put them up your like book titles. We'll have it thrown up with our podcasts, and of course you can find our podcast Spotify, Apple, and now we start our YouTube channel, which is so much fun. I'm having a field day with it. So and that's why it took us so long to get the channel because I wanted to do a video interview with you. I was like, let's
Oh, that's
do like
awesome.
getting your camera. So and
Thank
now it was
you.
like, yes.
Yeah, we're gonna launch a video channel for us too eventually, but we just hadn't
Sweet.
gotten there yet. We did. I can't say the name of the band, but we did almost have an opportunity the week before Thanksgiving to do a big time video in person interview at a big name band's practice, and we were
Oh
trying to
wow.
coordinate it, and I had all the
Uh-huh.
parts moving. Well, like we have a photographer. His name's Gary, and his day
Okay.
job is he works at a place called LA Post, and that's all they do is videography. And so
Wow.
it
Really?
was going to
Okay.
be him and his business partner, and they were going to come video this band,
Mhm.
us interviewing them. And we were like, yes, and we can finally launch the YouTube channel. And then it fell.
Yeah. Oh,
So hopefully soon,
Aw.
yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm sure that'll work out. Hopefully so. But oh my gosh, but this has been exciting. And but yeah, we'll get your links posted, everything. It's like And the website, it's mixed all mag.com, is that correct?
Yeah, I'll send you the link, and I'll send you
Perfect.
the names to all the books and all that, and where you can buy them. I'll send you all
Yes,
that.
that'll be great.
Yep.
Sweet. Yeah, we love it. Well, thank you so much for your time and
Thank you,
everything.
Nicole. This was great.
And like we'll do
Thanks,
this
y'all.
again. This is so much fun. This is so great. And I hope we make our Southeastern instructors and professors proud. So.
Well, you know what? I hope so too. You know, and I told y'all this earlier. Like, we just had such a good class. You
We
know,
We
did.
did, yeah.
we all knew each other. We all hung out. You know, and it was
We did,
just-
yeah.
it felt like high school in a way.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Yeah.
Because like I'll be honest, it's like I wasn't like as a student, I wasn't that crazy about Southeastern then. I mean, seeing what it's grown to now, I think I would have loved it a lot more and been more excited about it and appreciate it. But something about the communications department people in there, I adored that. And I love those people there. And I loved going to class here. And that's what kept me going, you know.
Well, for me, working at
Definitely.
KSLU was like
Oh,
a
same
dream.
here, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream because I always wanted to do radio ever since I was a little kid. I used to practice in my room, and so you know, in fact, I don't know if y'all remember Jessica Sutton.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, she's the one that got me my job at KSLU because she got hired first, and then she brought me on, and I was just like so happy. It was like the best thing ever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I loved it.
You are
It's like,
natural. That's awesome.
yeah, I've been there for a
a
couple of semesters and I loved it. And it because like my instructor Mike Applin, he saw something in me and was like, I think you have a good voice radio. And I was like introverted as hell. And like that really, I mean, it was definitely in a sense, honestly, like life altering for me because I mean, now it's like, I mean, I do still have some introverted characteristics like Kim can tell you, but I mean, I can go up in a room and stuff and talk people's heads off, you know, and go like in front of a crowd, make speeches, stuff like that now. And it's like nothing to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, yeah, you just have it. It just flows. It flows out. But like you said, we had great instructors and everything. Like you mentioned, like Dr. Burns and of course Mike Applin and Todd Dunnington. Like he's been a staple for Southeastern for a long time, and
Dr.
he was like
Madeir.
all the time.
Oh yes, I loved her. Yes, I love her.
Yes. Oh yeah.
One of my favorites.
Oh my gosh, so many memories. I love this. Well, I hope they know that we appreciate them. All right. Well, thank y'all so much. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. And thank you for tuning in. And thank you so much, Nicole. And
I know
and
this
don't
is
forget to
such a pleasure to have you.
comment.
Yeah,
Yes, this
thanks,
has been
y'all.
great.
Well, we need to hang out sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Let's
absolutely
do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be a
It's
weekend though,
phenomenal.
because during the week, it ain't
Oh
happening.
yeah.
Oh, weekend's growing for me too.
Totally
Yes.
down.
Yep.
Oh, love it.
Totally down. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And everybody, y'all have a good night. And stay tuned. Like I said, like, follow, subscribe, comment. We appreciate it all. And take a look at Nicole and what she's got going on. We're gonna post all the links.
Yes,
so
please do.
Thanks, y'all.
thank
Y'all have
you
a good
so
night.
much.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.